Hello, Peabody Institute Library of Danvers. Hello, Danvers families. We're going to have some fun with How Would You Dance? All right. How would you dance if you were a dog? What do you think? You might wag your tail and say, woof, woof. All right, can you do that with me? Ready? Woof, woof. Good job. If you were a dog, how would you dance? How would you dance? How would you dance? If you were a dog, how would you dance? Maybe like this. You'd wag your tail and woof, woof. You'd wag your tail and woof, woof. You'd wag your tail and woof, woof. If you were a dog, how would you dance? You'd wag your tail, woof, woof. All right, now we're going to be elephants. I'd love to see that elephant trot. And we're going to stomp our feet. Can you stomp your feet twice? Ready? Stomp, stomp. All right, show me that elephant trunk again. Now stomp your feet. Good job. You were an elephant. How would you dance? How would you dance? How would you dance? If you were an elephant, how would you dance? Maybe like this. You're gonna swing your trunk and stomp your feet. Swing your trunk and stomp your feet. Stomp your feet. Stomp your feet. Swing that trunk and stomp your feet. Can you swing and stomp your feet? Good job. All right. Now we're going to be a frog. Bend those knees and jump and say ribbit as loudly as you can. Ready? Here we go. Ribbit. Good job. If you were a frog, how would you dance? How would you dance? How would you dance? If you were a frog, how would you dance? Maybe like this. All right, we're going to jump and say ribbit. Well, jump as high as you can and say ribbit. Jump as high as you can and say ribbit. Jump as high as you can and say ribbit. If you were a frog, how would you dance? Jump one more time. Ready? Ribbit. Good job. All right, little frogs. Now we're going to be a chicken. What does a chicken say? Meow. No, it doesn't? Oh, bark, bark, bark. All right, can you flap your chicken wings and say bark, bark, bark? If you were a chicken, how would you dance? How would you dance? How would you dance? If you were a chicken, how would you dance? Maybe you'd dance like this. You'd flap your wings and say bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark, bark. Bark, bark, bark. You would flap your wings and say bark, bark, bark. Oh, yes, you would. All right, little chickens. If you were an invisible zebra cat bat, how would you dance? How would you dance? If you were an invisible zebra cat bat, how would you dance? Well, we'd be invisible, so I'm not quite sure. Are you invisible? All right. You're supposed to be hiding, invisible zebra cat bats. Are you hiding? You're invisible. Oh, there you are. All right. Well, they say peekaboo. Invisible zebra cat bats, they say peekaboo, peekaboo. They say peekaboo, peekaboo. They say peekaboo, peekaboo. Invisible zebra cat bats, they say peekaboo. They say peekaboo. I'm not sure what an invisible zebra cat bat is, but it hid. All right, that was fun. Thank you for joining in with me. Again, my name's Mary Beth, and I'm with the CFCE of the North Shore. CFCE of the North Shore is funded by the Coordinated Family and Community Engagement Grant from the Massachusetts Department of Early Education and Care, awarded to the Peabody Public Schools. Parents and caregivers If you have any questions or concerns with regards to ages and stages for your child or children, any other needs right now, please contact the CFCE of the North Shore. You can find them at www.cfceofthenorthshore.com. You can give them a call at 978-536-6543. All right, so we're going to continue with some silly fun. And we are going to have some fun with spaghetti. All right, if you like spaghetti, I would love if you could count to the number 5 with me. Are you ready? Who loves spaghetti? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. What? 5! Yay! All right. Now, I have a friend here this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, whenever you are watching our video, and she loves spaghetti.
I do. I like it with sauce. How do you like your spaghetti? Do you like meatballs? I like meatballs. Do you?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, how about a little song called On Top of Spaghetti?
On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. Can you say hatchoo? Hatchoo. On top of spaghetti, all covered with cheese. I lost my poor meatball when somebody sneezed. Ready, hatchoo. Hatchoo! It rolled off the table and onto the floor. And then my poor meatball, it rolled out the door. Show me rolling. It rolled out the door and it kept rolling. Good job with your rolling. It kept right on rolling on down by the lake. And then my poor meatball rolled by a cute little snake. And you say, sss, sss. It kept right on going. Keep rolling with your hands. Went under the gate. I must catch my poor meatball before it's too late. All right, we're going to run in place. We're going to pretend that we're running to catch the meatball. All right, are you ready? Are you running? Catch that meatball. Quick, get it. It changed its direction. Spin in a circle. Whoa, and stop. And now it's heading back. I think that my meatball is on the right track. If it stays on this trail and it keeps going straight, then my lovely meatball will end up on my plate. All right, can you rub your tummy in a big circle and say, yum, yum. Ready? Yum, yum. And then my poor meatball, it rolled back on the floor. And it just kept on rolling and rolling some more. Yeah. I write a song about my meatball that rolled right off my plate. All right, now I am going to find my lucky tambourine. My lucky tambourine. Now, we're going to sing a song about giraffes. Now, 5 little giraffes were sitting on a hill. One rolled down and 4 stood still. Now, we are going to use that rolling with our hands again like we did for our meatball. So show me those hands. Rolling, rolling. That little giraffe rolled right down the hill. All right, so we're going to do that again. We're starting with 5 giraffes. How many? 5. All right, ready? Here we go. And you can clap to keep a beat until it's time to roll. 5 giraffes sitting on a hill. 1 rolled down and 4 stood still. How many giraffes do we have left? 4. Can you help me count to 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome. 4 giraffes sitting on a hill. 1 rolled down and 3 stood still. How many giraffes do we have left? 3. All right, help me count to 3. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 3 giraffes sitting on a hill. 1 rolled down and 2 stood still. How many giraffes do we have left? 2. All right, help me count to 2. Here we go. 1, 2. All right. 2 giraffes sitting on a hill. 1 rolled down and how many stood still? 1. All right. Let's count to 1. Ready? 1. Oh my goodness. Now, you have to clap super duper fast for this. 1 giraffe sitting on a hill. 1 rolled down and none stood still. No giraffes left. Yay! No giraffes left. Oh, that's all right. All right. Speaking of no giraffes and saying goodbye, we have to say goodbye. All right, so could you do me a favor? Could you show me your best goodbye wave? Bye-bye. Thank you very much, Danvers families and Peabody Institute Library of Danvers from the CFC of the North Shore. We're going to say goodbye. We got to go. All right, let me see those awesome waves. I got to go now. Bye-bye. I got to go now. Bye-bye, I gotta go now. Bye-bye, see you later. See you later. We'll see you next time. Here's our big finish. Yeah. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everyone.